Hi, I'm Mark Brace, Senior Analyst at Osprey Flight Solutions, bringing you this week's update. As COVID-19 continues to spread, the general trend by governments around the world continues to be extending flight suspensions and travel restrictions, although like China, some countries in Europe have begun tentatively easing those restrictions, but these have been very limited and domestically focused and are unlikely to have any impact on international travel and commercial flight operations in the near term. To keep abreast of COVID-19 related travel restrictions and NOTAMs with accompanying data visualizations, please take a look at our free Osprey Open platform. Outside a few places, mainly the US and China, cargo and non-scheduled flights, including repatriation services, seem to make up the bulk of global flight activity currently. And we've noticed some of these flights being impacted by security incidents as knock-on or indirect effects of the pandemic. For example, in Marseille in France and Port Harcourt in Nigeria. Passengers and pilots on privately chartered aircraft and helicopters were either prevented from travelling or arrested for breaching travel restrictions. In both cases, they claimed to have had authorization, which highlights the potential for confusion or ambiguity surrounding some of the restrictions currently in place. More concerning was an incident at the weekend at Pointe Noire Airport in the Republic of the Congo, when an officer of the National Gendarmerie Force fired his weapon at an Air France repatriation flight that had just landed. No one was injured, but the aircraft was taken out of service. The gendarme's motive remains unclear, but the incident highlights potential hazards associated with short notice flight operations to certain locations. In Brazil, police made arrests in connection with the recent theft of large numbers of COVID-19 test kits and other medical equipment from the cargo terminal at Sao Paulo's Guarulhos International Airport. This is indicative of the potential for such criminal activity at airports as demand for these kind of items soars. Amidst all this, we continue to closely monitor global hotspots as conflict zone activity has not abated. To illustrate this, we've issued alerts in the last week covering the renewal and extension of both the UK and the French aviation authorities' publications providing guidance to operators, which covers 14 countries around the world. And just this week, we've seen more unannounced North Korean missile launches into the Sea of Japan, Israeli airstrikes launched from Lebanese airspace over the border into Syria, and an escalation in armed clashes between India and Pakistan in the Kashmir region, all of which create actual or potential risks in the airspace in those areas, and which we'll continue to update our clients on going forward. Until next week, please register for updates and Osprey Open, but most importantly, stay safe.